move things around as I need to. But all of the last, I think during COVID, certainly the pandemic, the last 2 years, all of the presentations I've done via Canva recently. I used to do it via Keynote because I'm on a Mac, and I've obviously used PowerPoint in the past, but I find it much easier. And then in terms of then perhaps as I prepare stuff, resizing it then for social media makes it a lot easier because I just resize bits. So anyway, hopefully what we're going to cover today, can we see my screen, my desktop?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
I'd like to make sure that first, is key, particularly if you haven't come across Canva and you're thinking about trying it out and you're not sure what it is and you want to know a bit more, the difference between the free version and the pro version. And we have got some teams here, so I will try to explain perhaps some of the benefits for teams, but I'll perhaps focus on that more at the end if we've got time. We're going to take a little tour of the area, know where to find different bits, what different buttons do, how to upload your stuff, so how to upload your photos, your logos, and then certain tools that are going to be really useful, like the color picker tool to save you some time, how to find templates in the right size for the different social media platforms, and how to potentially resize them on the pro. So some good templates, which is really good if you're not a designer. I'm not a designer by trade. Initially, I do now website design, but I'm not a graphic designer by trade. I have dabbled, but so templates are a really good place to get started and get some ideas from. Why, if you have got pro, or why if you're contemplating pro, the brand kit setup can save you so much time. So why that might be worth upgrading for. The cheeky little background remover tool, which to be honest, I can spend ages doing in Photoshop, but with Canva, it tends to be a couple of clicks. If it doesn't work perfectly, then it can be a bit more difficult to cut out, but then I can always take it to Photoshop if need be. We'll try and get onto videos and animations, because as we all know, video is big at the moment across social media platforms, so it can do that too to some extent. Saving and exporting, so how you actually get your graphics out of it. Scheduling content if you don't have a scheduling device. So the pro version does have scheduling. It's not perfect, but if you haven't got the budget for anything else, it's somewhere else you can use to schedule your content. The fact that you can have it on your browser, there's a phone app and desktop apps, and also where you can find more tutorials on Canva to take your learning a bit further. So that is what I'm going to try and squeeze in between now and 11. And get as much done as we can. So the first thing I want to do before we get started is just outline perhaps some of the differences between free and pro, so that you can see because I'm going to show you very quickly it in free so that you can see the difference. But then I am going to move to my version, which is a pro version, because I think you save much more time doing so. So you can see here the ticks for the free and the ticks for the pro. And I think the things that are worth paying, and I've covered it up with me Zoom bar. I don't know. Oh, there we go. So I think the 99, the £100 a year, I think if you pay monthly, I don't pay monthly, I pay it annually. I think it works out about £10.99 a month if you pay monthly, I think, off the top of my head, to give you some idea. The amount of time it can save you in terms of the hours that you save if you are creating graphics for social media or posters or so on, I think it's worth it. So what is different potentially, definitely, is the one-click resize. So if you have more than one social media platform, this is a really useful tool. You can copy and paste and fluff it up at the time that you're going to save just by clicking resize. The background remover tool is really useful. There are so many more templates, and yeah, of course you can take a photo of the screen. I can also send these slides out to you in a minute. If you have a Canva account, I can send it to your Canva account. So one thing that's massively different is the amount of templates that are available to you, and the elements and the stock photos that are available to you. There are stock photos too. in Canva on Pro. So again, you're saving money by not having to then have a stock photos account and searching for stock photos in a different browser or a different app to then bring in, because it's got so many already. This one was the biggest one for me initially before they added in other things, with the ability to actually download designs with a transparent background. So when you want to upload stuff to websites in particular with a transparent background and not have a block, then you will be able to download them so they've got that transparent cutout. And the ability to export video and GIFs are on the Pro version only. So if you are someone that wants to get into doing video, then you're going to need to upgrade. Side note, if you are a not-for-profit organization, you can apply for a free Pro account. So it's worth Googling that if you are of that nature. And then you can add team members as well, which we'll talk about. So if you are, so that you can work on designs together and share templates, etc., which can save you time. So moving on to the other differences. So the collaboration again, you can share. So like I can share graphics, I can share templates with other people and not necessarily have to add them to my team. So I can still do that, but we can't work on it together. And then the big thing that's then different is the brand management. So you can upload your own fonts, you can upload your logos, and you can upload your colors. You can save your colors to speed up your workflow process on Pro, which is different. So you might find if you've got quite a unique font that you have to upgrade to Pro because it's not already in the font list. So that might be one reason that you're kind of forced to be able to use fonts and upload those. But there are a lot of fonts already there. So that's a quick overview of, and the folders. So if you're good at organizing your content, which I wouldn't necessarily say I was, you can organize it also into more folders, which could be quite limiting if you're an organized type person. So I'm going to stop my presentation. So let's just close that version. This is one of my desktops, which is not that messy. The other desktop that you can't see is really messy. So then if I bring Canva over, and also my free version of Canva, if we just take a look-see at the free version, just to sort of show you initially on Instagram posts. So if I come out and I go to Instagram post, you have unlimited. If I come into templates, you can see here loads and loads and loads and loads of templates, and there's no restrictions on them. So it shows you that they're all Pro. I can use these freely. I can change all of these different elements. That's not an issue. Here, if we look at my free version, there are templates that I can't access because there are some that are free, so I can start playing with and have access to, but it's not unlimited. So I can access it, but I have to upgrade to Canva Pro. And then there are also some templates, which, where is it? Just scrolling down here. I saw some, there you go. So here, for example, it's saying, well, you can access this one, but it's got paid elements. So you could start using this template, but it does have things in it that I would need to pay for to be able to download it or remove the paid elements. And I'm guessing it's this photo. So you can see here it's watermarked. And if I actually switch that out for perhaps one of my own, skip to for a minute, it's just obviously not the best one. Let's just flip that for a minute. Now, if I come to download that, I think I'm going to be allowed. No, it's still saying I've got 3 premium images. So it does tell you, and once I've finalized my design, if I really want to keep these elements, which will be things like this, then I can pay for it once and use that design once it's finalized. Now, by the time you've kind of done this once or twice, you might have signed up for Canva Pro, even if it's just for the month. Now, Canva Pro does do a free trial for like 30 days. So you can try it, get using it. And if you've got a heavy amount of graphics that you want to create quick and then scale down, you can do. So there are sort of cheeky ways around it, but it will give you an idea, and it says try Canva Pro so you can upgrade. I think the time saving personally is in the Pro, but you can have a play around, or you can try it for 30 days first and see if it's for you. So I am going to move to the Pro version. So first of all, if I come in to Canva, and if I click here, you'll get like the Canva kind of screen. So when you first come in, it loads up and you can see all the random stuff I've been doing recently, designing in Canva for myself, for clients, and so on. And what's really great is you do not have to think about what is the right size for Instagram, for Facebook, for any of those things. And you can pretty much make anything, and you can even now do print professionally with bleed lines and so on. So for people that do need to have, because that was one of the things with these, that yeah, you could get so far, but you couldn't get it with professionally then printed with bleed lines and that side of things. So it restricted people. But if you just go through, and this is just to show you some of the things that you can make and the templates, you know, the starting points they've already got. But equally, you can come up and you can type in like Facebook, and then it will start coming up with the different Facebook, like Facebook sizes for a Facebook ad, a Facebook ad, and then suggested templates. And if I go Facebook post, it will bring up Facebook post, live stream Facebook post, or if I do Facebook event, it will give me the right covers for those different things. So whatever you're going to start making on your social media posts, you can get straight to it and find the right size. You're not having to look it up on the internet, not see what's the latest sizing and all of those kind of things. So I'm going to pick who needs something making? Who needed something making? Was it John? You said you needed something with regards to...
Yes, yeah. So basically when I'm selecting, for example, Facebook,
yeah,
what I find an issue with sometimes is when I upload my photos into it,
yeah,
it doesn't always size properly.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, if I put text in, I'm forever fiddling around trying to find out how to increase the font sizes,
yeah,
switching them around. It's really a navigation sometimes of where to find things.
Yeah.
I'm very much a PowerPoint person in the old days.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use PowerPoint logic in this in some way, but it doesn't always work that way. So when I'm moving things around, I'm finding that things will override, you can't resize and things like that now.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a Facebook posting to start off with.
Okay, so let's start with a Facebook post. And do you have anything you need to make at the moment?
Not at the moment. No, I'm just trying to. I'm fairly sort of like I like to create things as I'm going along. So it's just knowing how to move things around and the tools I can use and the additions and things like that.
Does anybody else have a Facebook post they literally need to create in the next couple of weeks? Jane, you're holding up your hand.
Well, I wasn't thinking so much of Facebook, but I'd love to take the task of incorporating Lymington.com and Bartley Marketing. So, you know, kind of create something that enables me as Bartley Marketing to talk about Lymington.com.
Okie dokie.
With the logos, with the
let's do it on as a Facebook post so that we're sort of hitting John's size, and then we'll do the resizing. So we'll do a bit of both. So I'm also going to sneakily pull up on my other screen just some of your logos and websites, etc., so that I can drag some stuff in. So while I'm looking for those, I'm just going to give you a little tour of the area, and I'm going to move my zoom bar because it's annoying, isn't it? Because it's in the wrong place. So this is kind of your work area. So this is the Facebook size. So it's like our area that you can work. And once we get into the swing, we can add more pages. And down the side here, we have different elements. And if you're thinking, I don't have these elements on mine, or they're in a different place, you can actually move them, I think she said. I'm sure I moved styles up because I needed it. You can actually go to more and find them. So there are other tools, and the ones that you perhaps use more recently, like I hadn't found styles until very recently, and it's been an absolute game changer for me. So styles is really useful, but if you go to more, and then you can actually drag, so charts I've added recently, I think I've pretty much added everything recently, but anyway. So if you're finding that you haven't got these elements, you can go to more and find them. And in terms of the folders that I've got, it tends to just do the ones that I've accessed more recently. So at the very top, I've got templates, which I quite often start with. So I'll start with a template, and or perhaps search for a template like Mother's Day. And I'll scroll through and I'll think, well, I might not be in the right color, but I'll start with it. So then all you would do if you like the starter one is you would click on it and it brings that in. So, and then at this stage, we can change things. So up here is kind of my toolbar. And sometimes if you've got a smaller browser, some things are hidden. And if you increase your desktop, they'll come up more. So I can, for example, change my colors. Now, if you don't have Pro, you don't have necessarily your brand kits loaded, but you can add any colors that you want. So you get the default colors, and you can, so I can add more brand fonts and colors if I want to, because I've got that Pro version. So let's just say I want to change the color of that background, something not as inspiring, or I can actually pick out colors on the scale. Or if I've got a logo, she says, very quickly, see if I can steal James, I can pick out the colors. So if I want to upload things, so we'll come to all these different elements. If I want to upload things, I can literally drag and drop them, or I can use, if you're used to folders, you can go to upload media and search for your folder. So I've now uploaded Barclay Marketing. And let's say I want, this is not the greatest example of my design so far, but let's just say on the color front that I want to pick out the color of the orange for Barclay Marketing, because I don't necessarily know it. I can very quickly change that. So you can see how you can pick out elements either in a photo or in a logo or some other graphic to find that without having to know necessarily your hex codes. But if you do know your hex codes, you can upload them and get them absolutely spot on. So that is templates. And then just so that you know where to find different things, and then we'll get into actually doing the elements, is where you can search for a whole heap of things. So like where we've got here a illustration, let's just say we want to talk about website design, because that's one of the elements that Barclay Marketing do. I can put in here to the search bar website design. And if you're on a free version, it will tell you which elements you can use for free or which elements that are going to be paid for or pro. And then you know there's going to be a cost implementation. So I can also say, well, actually, I wanted to look at website design photos, or I wanted specifically graphics, and it will equally show you some illustrations. So you can, or they've even got stock videos. They're not all amazing, but there are different ones. So you can come in and you can go, okay, well, I quite like this one. And some of these you'll be able to change. You could be able to see the colors, and some, and I bet I pick every one that I can't see. That one I can't change the colors of. There is no coming up here. There's no ability for me to change very easily. Like I can't change the blue to a different color. So you can see if the graphics are kind of changeable in that respect. So that's where you can find different elements. And it could be that you just want a line, and it will give you different lines, or it could be that you just want a rectangle, and it will give you different rectangles that are resizable and changeable. And you can then build up different elements. So I'll show you how you do that later. So I showed you uploads, and if you wanted again to go and find via, rather than dragging and dropping, you can come into your filing system on your computer and upload them that way, the same as you would PowerPoint. Then specifically photos, again, and it does give you recommendations based on your searches. So it comes up with some examples, but again, I can search, say social media, and it will give me a load of different elements. Or if I want to be more specific, like Instagram, and so on. And so you can then scroll through and find things that are going to work for you. And then text elements, if I get rid of my template for a minute. On text, it gives me some kind of text sort of pairing. If again, you're stuck and you're not sure how to put those together, or you can start adding text. And then in terms of my text, I can change the text by going through, and I've got uploaded fonts because they're pro, but you can, the nice thing about it is it shows you what the font is like. So do you want a script font? Do you want a bold font? And you can search if you know what font you're looking for. And then at the top, just like you do in PowerPoint, you've got text color changes, text sizes. So I can either use my mouse to grab the corner and make it bigger, just like I do in PowerPoint, or I can use the sizing tool, or I can squish it so that it goes that way. And again, I've got left align, I've got justify, not that justified always works, right align, and center. And then this isn't a great example because I'll have to change my font because this is an uppercase one anyway. But if I come into, say, Quicksand and change that there, then I've got the ability to make it bold or not bold. And that's the type of font that allows you to do that. And then underline, if I needed to underline it, or I can change it very quickly to caps or not caps. So very quickly you can make some changes. And that's just on the front. You can see now I've got more options here because I've added some different elements. So we're going to work our way down here, and then we'll get into some designing. So then styles, if you've got your brand kits uploaded, particularly when you've got a template, if I come here, if I pick out a template that I like, say International Women's Day, and then I come into styles and I've got my brand colors uploaded, and I think, okay, well, yeah, that's all right, but I want it in my colors. How easy is it to change this template? All I do is I click once I'm in styles and click again, and it tells me what I can change, and it will shuffle the colors, and I can keep going until I find something I like. Now this obviously can't be changed, so it's not a great template. So I'm actually going to get rid of that, just grab it all or delete it at the top here. And I'm going to pick another one. So what one do I think would, I reckon this one will change quite well. So yeah, so if I come into styles and again, just click, you can see immediately, the only thing that's not changing is that I love you, mum. It is going to change all the colors, and I can immediately get a good starting point in my brand colors that work for me, and then make a few tweaks. And I can do it, particularly if I've got other clients. I just go and go, okay, well, that's that one, or another client, And again, I can very quickly add my brand colors to a template and then start working on it. Or do different versions of it in different colors, so that if I'm doing it across different platforms, it looks different on different platforms. And then working my way down, there is also audio and music. So if you are making videos, you can add music to it. It is a bit elevatory music because it's stock free, but you can equally upload your own audio as well, just like you can upload your own video as well. So that's useful to know. And then videos, again, most of them are, I'm finding, because where I'm trying to do social media posts, a lot of them are vertical. A lot of their stock video is landscape. So yeah, I will add a brand kit in a minute so you can see how it works. Jane, I'll try and add yours slightly so that I can quickly do that as part of that. But like, even I think I've used this, and the search isn't perfect, then it starts bringing up New Forests, which is not the same as New Forest, but there is some New Forest video which I can very quickly use. Not great in the summer because it's a bit frosty, but you can see. And then over the top of my video, I can start adding my elements again. I can start adding my logos, for example. I can start adding my text over the top. And that's without me having to go out and record horses, ponies. So videos we've got, and then going down, these are my folders, which you can then access. You've got GIFs. So because GIFs have been popular recently, I've started experimenting with some of these in social media posts. And again, that's just searching GIFs like normal. And then there's charts. I mean, if you're not doing it for a social media post, I would probably use something particular, you know. It's great if you want to include a very simple chart in a presentation or a very simple chart in a social media post. But if you're trying to do full-on charts, use Excel. It is going to, you know, do what you need to do. You can add your Google Drive. It added my personal one. And then logos, I've got my brand kit logos uploaded, and then I can access all my folders, which aren't as well organized as they should be. And then again, more. So that's kind of down the side. So what we're going to have a look at, I promised, is that we would look at how you upload your brand kit. So if I wanted to upload my brand kit, I would come back to the main screen and I would go to brand kit and I would add. And so let's call this Bartley Marketing. Okay. Never type when people are watching me for some reason. And then from here, and again, once you've got your brand elements, you can create templates. So particularly great if you're working in a team and you want set templates for people to work on together, you've got that ability. So I'm going to, I dragged that off. Where did I drag that off? So Bartley Marketing. I'm going to do Lymington.com. And, you know, I'm dragging this off your website. You would upload your proper JPEGs and PNG transparents. Where's my desktop? Come on, catch up. Let's try again. There we are. See, that's not the best PNG, but you get the idea. Let me find Lymington.com. If you can let me save it. No. Have you got one you can email me quickly, Jane? And I will do that in a minute. And then it picks out the colours from the logo, but equally, we can add more colours at this stage. So if you've got your brand kit from your brand designer, you can add them that way. or you might be able to pick out different colors.
I'll ask a quick question there.
Of
Sorry.
course you can.
So when you drag in a PNG file,
Yeah.
It automatically produces the colours that's within your palettes from your logo. Is that right?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So it picks them out already for you, which is nice and handy.
Because the old days, you have to go in and change. You have to go into the background and look at the numbers, like 200.
That's it, like this, like I'm doing now from Jane's website.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, so it does part of that automatically. Or if you've got your brand guideline kit from your designer, your brand, you can come in and I can go plus, and I can, if you can add all the different shades. Do you see what I mean? So that's what I'm kind of doing now. I don't need 2 whites. Jane's emailed me. No. I need a Lymington.com logo, probably, Jane. I'll tell you where I can scrape it. Obviously with permission, it's Facebook probably. So if I quickly do I know I'm killing my internet. One thing I would say is obviously this works off a browser, and even when it's on your desktop or on your phone, it's calling on the internet and saving it directly to the internet. So you do need a reasonably good internet connection to make that work. And obviously the speedier the internet connection, the faster you can go. I've got a Facebook one I'll do for now. And then if you know your brand fonts, and if I have a quick look at Bartley Marketing, it's Open Sans. So Bartley Marketing is Open Sans. Is it already, that's quite a popular font. So Open Sans bold for the heading. And again, I can set, this just sets you up quickly on how big do you want it to be as it loads. And then if I do Open Sans normal, for example, is that. And then let's just have a look at Lymington.com. I think that's Open Sans as well, is it?
By the way, sorry, Rebecca, I've only got one tiny little laptop here, and I can't. I'm having difficulty working between watching us.
Don't worry.
And getting at things.
I'll make it work, and you can obviously see how the end works, and then finesse your end. And then we've got. So I think it's the same. Do you know what your squirrely text is on Stay in the Loop with Weekly What's On?
I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember it. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Make something up.
But then we could add the squirrely text. So in fact, if we make that Open Sans, and I'm gonna have a look at, but you can here then upload your font. So if it's very specific and you've got the font file, you can do it. So let's just find a text that is more, I know it's not that. Let's find script. So script. So if I put in script, which is like the scripty ones rather than sans, I can then scroll through some. Let's just pick one for now. I know it's not this one, but I'm going to pick Magnolia. And then if I wanted like other color palettes, so like different shades that I can work on as well. So like for Lymington.com, I can see on the website that we've got blue quite a lot as well. I'm just going to add it all in here for now. Navy blue. And you can, if you take your time over this bit, it's going to save you a lot of time in the end. So, right. So, and if I go now back into my project, I should find, she says, when I now come into Brankit, Bartley Marketing. And then I've got set up. So as I go, okay, I want to change that now to my Open Sans bold, or I want to change that now to my Magnolia script, because I've got it here. I can very quickly do that. And if I want to now change and have a play with my template, I very quickly get some starting points. So that is where uploading your brand kit is going to be much easier, because now if I come down to logos, I've got my 2 logos here. And granted, I haven't got a PNG, but you know what? In Pro, I don't need a PNG because I've got the background tool. So now if I go into edit image, background remover, I'm hoping, because it's very clear, distinct colors, that it's going to take the white off for me. So all I do is I click background remover and I have a sip of my coffee. Keep my fingers crossed it does it nicely. Where you've got very similar colors together, it won't do it. So that's not been perfect, but I have also got the ability to restore certain bits. So where it's taken bits out that I didn't want it to, I can just come in and it's a bit pixelated because I've chosen it off Facebook. Tiny image. So my starting point wasn't great, which is why I say if you upload your best stuff at the starting point on your brand images, then you're good to go. So now I've got that and that matches very nicely. So that was the background remover tool. And you can see here as well, there are other edits. So let's say I ended up with a white background and actually Bartley Marketing doesn't show up very well. I've got some other tools here that I can use, and you probably wouldn't do this with a logo, but you could do it with other graphics. But just so that you can see, you can adjust the brightness, so or take it back. Now, obviously this doesn't work with logos, but you're getting the idea because you don't want to play around with your brand. But you can make it brighter or you can make it darker so that it will show, or you even have like set filters where it will pick out different colors where you can make it pop. So I can change the color really easily, which obviously isn't great for a logo because you don't want to do that on your brand. And then there are other features as well that you can play around with. But if I take that back and because I know the shortcut Control Z on my screen, you can undo. So I've now undone, and there is I think other ways of doing that if you're not sure. But again, if I now wanted to come into this and I wanted to make this stand out more on something, I've also got shadows, so I can make it glow and I can change the settings on it. So I might change the color, for example, and I can change the blur, so I can make that more or less defined. So if you're struggling to see it over an image, you can change that, or I can make it more transparent so it's not as big, and I can change the size so the glow goes kind of a little slower. So you've got different elements that you can change and do quite good. So for example, if you wanted to have a photo that you then made it look like it stood out with a bit of shadowing, you can come into the image and you can come into drop, for example, and it should give you that drop shadow effect. So now it looks like it's sort of a bit more 3D. So the shadows help with that. And equally, if I know Jan and I were talking about this feature she didn't know existed, you also have smart mockups, which again, for Jane, if she's done website design and wants to showcase that in a social media post, you can then upload a screenshot of the website and you can bring in and go to computers on your smart mockup. And I've now smart mocked up that, so the photo I originally had is now inside that laptop within a few clicks. So you kind of go, okay, so that was quite easy. So if I take, for example, just so that you can see, I'm going to take a screenshot of move the chat out of the way. Take a screenshot of Lymington.com website that I've got up. And now on my messy desktop, which thankfully you can't see, find it. Where is it? There it is. So if I upload this, drag it up. You doing it? Yeah. You can see it is a mess, my desktop. So I need to crop it first once it loads. And generally screenshots are quite high res, so it takes a little while. Come on. This is where I'm then not patient. I'll get rid of that for a minute. So I haven't got the patience, so while it's still loading. So what I need to do is I need to crop it. So I've got crop up here, but equally I've got guidelines around it. So let's just finish loading. So I can start by going, okay, I want this bit. I want that bit. And I want that bit. So for anything that you want to crop, you can very easily crop. And now I've got that, let's go back to my edit image and let's mock that up into a laptop again, into a computer. So let's pick, doesn't really matter, but let's pick this one. Fingers crossed, it will keep my crop. Didn't keep my crop. So you would have to crop that first to be able to keep it. But you get the idea that you can very quickly make some advanced kind of graphics without having to faff around too much. Let me get rid of my Mother's Day. So let's actually do a fairly generic kind of social media post. Jane, you are better at copy at me. What do you want this social media post essentially to say? So you want it to sort of say a bit about Bartley Marketing and Lymington.com together?
I've made far too complicated a subject, which I am regretting bitterly here. Why don't we just do something for... hang on a minute. I'll think about it and put something in the chat.
That's all right.
Do an advert for Easter for something.
Easter. Have you got anything on at Easter, Jane, that we need to add?
Let's do something like see what's on this Easter or something.
Okay. Yeah. So elements. So let's say we haven't got a suitable image. Let's start having a look and see what we've got for Easter that we can change. So obviously, you know your brand and you can go cutesy or not cutesy, but you can either do something similar, simple like this, where you have a background that then we change into your brand colors. And if that's too bold, because we want to start adding text over the top, we can take the transparency down, but it's still in your brand colors. So
sorry, where did you pick up the brand colors there?
I went to brand colors,
right,
because I've uploaded them in my tool.
Oh, got you there. Sorry,
I've got them here, so I can just quickly pick one.
For the Bartley,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but is that all within one brand kit? Are you then in a brand kit?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, because I kind of, I suppose, very, very logical and need my structure. And that's partly why I found Canva so difficult, because it's so versatile. It's so you can kind of do anything. But I don't know if anybody else is the same, but I kind of need to know where to plant things. And
yeah. So you could have, for example, a pure Bartley Marketing one, and then you can switch between it. So if you then want to switch, like if I go, hang on a minute, no, I want to make this purple dog and not Bartley Marketing, I can switch my brand kit. So you can upload more than one brand kit, and then I can go, hang on, no, I'm not doing it for Bartley Marketing, I'm doing it for purple dog. And now all of a sudden I haven't got to rehash my design completely or click on all the individual colors. I've made a good start. But if I want to switch back, and then come up with a different design, I can do so. Now I might want to go in and tweak. So I might want my background, actually quite liked it with the dark, and I quite liked the over the top. And then this can be much brighter, we say the white.
You can't change the egg colours, can you? No.
I can change the egg colours. So if I click on the egg colours, I can change them to whatever I want.
But you can't change an individual one.
No, not on this kit. But if that annoys me, I'll just go and find another egg.
Oh, okay.
So let's say I like this one. Can I change all the colours on that? Yeah, I can. So I could actually do.
Ah, okay. That's exciting.
And say white. And now I've got a more Bartley marketing egg. And if I wanted more than one, I could actually just come up here and duplicate it. And then I can move it around. And if I wanted to make some smaller, I could do so.
So you can have all different versions of the Bartley colours in different eggs. That's good.
It. So, and again, if I want to do that quickly, if I come back to me styles and click on this, it changes the whole thing. Can I do it just on the shuffle? No, but I could change it quick, or I can go and individually change them if I wanted to. So I could do that. And then let's say I now want something that's more a bit New Foresty. What I can also do is you can put in frames, which then hold your photo. So if you search for frames, it comes up with frames, but I want, if I go all, right, I want some placement holders. So let's say I go to my mobile. Well, let's actually use desktop because we've already got a screenshot. And yeah, I'll do that in a minute, Jane. Hang on. So let's say I now want to upload, go to my uploads, and I'm now going to place in my Bartley marketing, but I need to make that cropped. So edit the image, cancel. Let me make it. So now within that, whoop. That about right? Nearly. Okay. So now I could, for example, this is really rough and ready because I'm doing it obviously quickly. I could now add some more text that says, and again, that's too big, so I can take that down. Like so. If I wanted to make just events, like a different color to make that stand out, I can highlight it and then come up here. Like so. So Jane's asked, how would I change my brand kit? So let's just go back and show you how to do that slowly. So I would come up here on the left hand side, and if I've got more than one brand kit already uploaded, I can switch. And then from here, I've then got this ready to go. So I can then shuffle and change. And the fonts that I use will automatically be my branded fonts. So that's how I would switch between brand kits if I wanted to, if I was doing different brands at once. But generally, most people, unless they're doing client work, will have one brand kit with maybe 2 palettes or more. So now let's say, let's get rid of these a minute. Let's say my beautiful design is nearly finished. I'm sure we can do better with a bit more time, but you can see what I can do very quickly, to be fair. Let's just get that and then restore my bits. Just save that. I've got them all. Make that smaller. So now I can start overlaying text if I wanted to. Overlaying things. And I can now edit that image again to make it drop so it stands out a bit. Or I might add in some very simple elements like rectangles and things that I can layer up. If I want like a bar at the bottom for some more information. And now I want my egg to come forward. So I've got position at the top and I'm going to bring that forwards so it comes. So just like you would on PowerPoint and so on. And now let's say I want that to be a much darker bar. And I want to add in my text, my website text, just to make that nice and clear. And I can see you've got a whizzy circle. I don't think that's the right font, but you have got a whizzy circle. So I could even go to circle over my full stop, like you have on your logo. And let's make that transparent, like it is on your logo. Let's move it backwards, not that far back. And okay, now I'm like, I can't see what I'm doing. It's too small. I want to zoom in on this bit. I've got my zoom in tool down here to see what's going on. So now if I move that out of the way a second, I'm going to make that a bit smaller. And I'm going to copy it, make another one, and put that over the top. So it looks very similar now to Leamington.com. So you can see how you can build and use graphics to get done quickly. And now obviously I want to zoom back out. Now, not that far. So let's just say that's ready. And now I don't want it for just Facebook. I want it on Instagram, or I want it on an Instagram story, or I want it on Pinterest or what have you. In Pro, because this is Facebook perfect size, I can now click resize on the top left-hand corner. So I'm going to click resize, and let's say I want an Instagram story. I can either search for what I want an Instagram post, and the one that's always blinking slightly different is the Twitter post. So let's start with those. And I can now go copy and resize, or resize, but I want to keep this one. So you're now gonna, if I move this over here, you're now going to see when I click copy and resize, more tabs open here. And it's going to not perfectly resize, but pretty much perfectly resize these. So it's remixing. And so now I've got a Twitter one. And it might need a few tweaks to get it perfect, like making my bar longer, or maybe spacing it out slightly differently. But now I've got a Twitter one. And if I go here, I can either keep, I quite like where that is as a bar. See, sometimes you go, oh, actually, that's quite nice. Or I might want to move this up, or I might want to make it slightly bigger, just to make the fit slightly better. But I haven't had to actually do an awful lot to resize this. Now this is where it does get a bit more, Instagram stories, very different, obviously. But I can drag that down. I would move this bit up. I might even add a few more eggs because I've got the space. But you can see how really quickly, rather than now one social media post for one platform, I've now got it. Let me move that forwards. And again, I am doing this really quickly, but you get the idea of how much quicker it is. So I've now got my original Facebook post. I've got my Instagram story post, and I could add a bit more information if I want, or make it a bit bigger. And if I know it's going on Instagram story, I'll show what else you can do in a minute. Boop. And I've got my Instagram post, and I've got my Twitter post. And if I want to download them, all I do is I go share, and I go download, and it says to me, do I want a transparent background? Well, if you were doing this and you wanted it on a website with this bit transparent, we've got it. You would make this white and do so. Do I need to compress it because it's going and make it easier to upload? Then I could do so. Or do I want to make it bigger or smaller? But it will give me the best size for Twitter. And all I do is I download it. And depending on where you set your download folders to, then it will go there. And then, of course, you can file appropriately, or you can take it straight into your social media. So here it's come up with, where do I want to put it? So if you've got a really good filing system, you can do that straight away. If you end up with what the other half of my desktop looks like, it will generally be on your desktop first, and then you'll stick it somewhere else and it'll be messy. So I can just save that. So I save to my desktop quite often while I'm working on stuff, and then file later. And the same goes for those.
Can I ask something about that?
Of course.
Because Tanya's always saying, just look in Canva. So a load of stuff is filed somehow, somewhere in our Canva account, and I can never, ever find it.
Yeah. I'll show you how to use them.
So you are actually suggesting here that it is quite a good idea still to download and file in your.
Well, you will need to download. It depends on your working structure. But if you're working on stuff together, you can share files together, and equally you can search. So as long as you use a naming convention, like what's on Easter, and you know what that naming convention is, because I didn't name these, see? In a minute, I'll show you how you can search for those so that you can find them quick. And I would typically have more than one on the go. So if you do more than one post and then resize, it will resize it for all of those platforms. And then you can download them all at once. So that's where you can save time as well. Was there another question?
Yeah, where did you go into the resize again? You know, when you said
so top
up just
here.
That's all manually. Where's that come from? Is that because you've been in and out? So
yeah,
go back to the home page.
Because I'm just on I'm on my work area.
Right.
I can then up the top, I've got file.
Yeah.
So I can save from here to a folder if I want to, or make a copy or download, but the resize is where I can go in and say, well, what do I want to resize it to?
So that option pops up ready for. Oh, okay.
So it's up there on the very top.
I thought you'd go in somewhere and pick it up. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So I've got all these different things, and now we've said, okay, so video is really hot at the moment. What if I wanted to convert this into very simple video? So for example, I'm just going to zoom in so I can see where the events page is here. Okay, so in my elements, if I type in, and sometimes it's easier to type in stickers because it gives it to you, highlight, and then I get some stickers. And stickers I can't generally change the color of unless I do some editing of imaging, so you do have to find sort of one that's going to work. But like, I can now add my highlight image, and I want to highlight where events is, and I could use an arrow. And if I just duplicate that, the duplicate tool is also up here. I can bring that round. And now if I export that, I've got the option on download to do it on video or a GIF. Not all platforms allow GIFs, but now that is a really simple video, which actually is going to boost your algorithm just for the sheer fact it's a video rather than a static post. And if I wanted, and I know James was saying he found this frustrating, the animation coming in and out isn't as finesse as PowerPoint. Like you can literally on PowerPoint direct exactly where you want stuff to go. But let's say up here, all this time I've actually had, if I click on any of these elements, animate. Let me zoom out again so you can see the whole thing. And I can either now do text animations where I just animate certain text. So I've got all these different things. So I can highlight, say that one. Or I can make the whole page animate if I want to. Perhaps not quite so appropriate in this one, but if I just roll over, I can see what it's going to do. So again, on Instagram story, this just gives it a bit more movement. And I've not had to think too much about it. But if I just go back to text animations, then I control the different elements that come in. What I can't do yet, and I reckon will come, was set times for that. I can't set the timing in or the timing out at the moment. But I can, if I do a little preview, let's just get rid of this second one. My preview button at the top here where it says it's going to last 5.6 seconds. I can see what that's going to look like. And so really simply, you can make a video without having to be on the screen or having to film or having to think too much. And you can just change it then quite easily for a different platform. So I'm just looking at the time and I'm going back to my list of things I said I would cover. We haven't talked about scheduling yet. We've done a little bit on video. Background removal tool we've done, saving and exporting designs we've done. And so like, let's say, okay, well, actually the platform, I just want it to be static. If I don't want that to be video and I just want it to stay still, I can still export it as a JPEG. And it says, well, the video and audio and animations aren't going to play. Well, yeah, but I want it as a JPEG. Or let's say I want to add some audio. It is elevator music, but I can have happy, upbeat, sad. I mean, I don't, Easter, yeah. But you can search for audio, but let's just say I want a little bit of upbeat music on it for my Instagram story without having to think about it. Let's go happy. I'm gonna play. Bit too funky, but I know I can take that off. I'm going to delete it up here. But you could equally, if you're making a video, add, this is probably too funky. I play it. But you can add audio at this stage if you want to as well. And if you've got your own audio that you want to upload, whether it's a voiceover or something, you could upload it here and then that will change. So what else did I say? So the color picker tool I've showed you. So like if I wanted to pick something out of this image, if I go back to it's styles, whoops, let's say I want to pick a color out of this, just revisit that. This is my pick a color tool, and I can pick any color, like I said, either out of a graphic or out of an image, and that will change whatever I've selected. So the color picker tool is really good. Gone over brand kit bit, background remover tool we've done, saving and exporting we've done, scheduling content. Now this is not the most finesse scheduling tool, but you can. You can do basic posts. Don't schedule Instagram stories because it will post to your feed. So you can do feed posts and you can do ordinary LinkedIn posts, ordinary Facebook posts. So let's just pick, stories is not the best example. So here, this one here, if I wanted to use Canva's scheduling tool, then I can do on the pro version. So you've got a couple of ways into it. You can either, I want to schedule this now. And again, just like anything, I can pick a date, I can pick a time, and I can go next. you need to integrate your channels, but let's just say this one here for the moment. Oh, yeah, and it will tell me what I need to do if it hasn't added it. But you can select a channel. Let's pick this one. I've selected it for Wednesday. So again, you can do your post, title of your post. So what's on this Easter? Means I know I've still got Welsh cake there. So this is where I write my caption. And if I wanted to add a link, I can add my link. So it's basic, but if you haven't got the budget to schedule to Pinterest, to Twitter, to and all of those things, then it is a starting point. So I can either save it as a draft, which I'm going to do, so don't forget. And now I can go and look at my content planner. And the other place, when you come back to your main page, your home, down here is your content planner. So content planner here, and you can see then, just like if you wanted to start actually, what do I need to post? And it gives you some suggestions like World Health Day is on the 7th, or if I want to go on, it gives you suggestions of days coming up like Easter Sunday and stuff. So it would make sense for me to perhaps not put that there, but to perhaps move it to here, because it's what's coming up this week. And I can change my time. I can go in and make changes here if I need to. So, and that will post to, at the moment, to Pinterest. But you can integrate your, so that you can do some quick posts. I always find that I end up going back to one tool, and that using just one tool is easier. But again, if you haven't got the budget, it is easier to perhaps do that rather than trying to think about scheduling Twitter and Pinterest and all those different things. So that's your content tool, use Content Planner. You can, I've been doing this in the desktop app. You can download. So if you go to canva.com, Beans, you're not having the Welsh cake. My dog's whinging because there's a Welsh cake on the desk. So if you go to canva.com, you've then got it in the browser view, which is ever so slightly different. I'm logged in. So if I log out, so get the Canva apps. So that's where it was on the drop down. And then it tells you Canva for Mac, because I'm on the Mac, but if I was on a desktop, it would download it. There's also a app for the phone, which is good if you want to post on the go, because then you can download stuff that you've done on your desktop. I find editing on the go in Canva a bit clunky, because like, how do you rotate? I haven't worked out how to rotate stuff on the app because it's not so simple. So, but it is very good for being able to start, and then rather than trying to email it to yourself or something, if you've got then the app on your phone, you can go and download the design so it's on your phone if you then want to publish it on the go. Exactly. It's rotation's not great. It's much easier to design anything on a desktop because it's bigger and you've got more space. So that's where you can find the apps, but you don't need to use an app. You can just use the browser. This is the browser. This is the desktop app. There's no differences in the desktop to the browser. There is on the mobile. And then if you want to learn more, Canva's got loads of lessons. So you've got getting started, you've got designing with, social media marketing, running your business, and so on. So if you want to take more time over this and learn how to do different elements, it's got its own tutorials. And it's got its, or you're really stuck with, well, okay, where do I start? You can go in this way as well and look at inspiration for Instagram stories and so on. So the only thing I haven't covered is like teams. I said I would if we have time. So like if you are working with someone, let me see, if I bring back, did I log out? Let's shut that one a minute. Did I log out of? So let's say I start on a design. There are a couple of things I can do. I can, on this design, she says, where is it? If I click on it, I've got the share tool up here. And I can share this with teams, with people, with groups. or I can literally put in an email address and share it with them. And depending on their level, if they've got a pro account, for example, they'll be able to come in and do the same. And I can make it so it's only with the people that can access, or anyone with a link, and whether they can just view, can comment, can edit. So in terms of working on a team, if you want to design something together, or you're working on stuff, you can comment on stuff just like you can in like a Word doc or something. And then they're able to do that. And I can put in, so I might as well add Jane, even though this isn't perfect, but Jane at Bartley, is Bartley Marketing, isn't it? .com.
.co.uk.
Okay. So I've got here that she can edit. I don't need to invite Jane to my team because she'll be able to still edit that particular thing. If I invite her to my team, she can access all my team templates. So if you're working in a team, you can have team templates and team folders and so on, and structure those together. But like if you're just sharing documents between each other, if I send that now, I can add a message if I want. She knows it's coming. And if it tries to add people to your team, you don't have to, because it's not going to charge, like it's going to charge me on the 1st of April, but I don't want to, so I'm going to cross it off, and it just shares that with Jane. So you've got different ways of working within teams. I'm aware of time, have we got any specific questions that are going to be more useful than talking like in a team, what designs you've got and inviting members to your team?
I've got, I sometimes advertise my church. So what I like to do is try and send them out to different Facebook pages.
Yeah.
So I can do it on my own page, post on my own church page. Yeah. I seem to struggle to how to put the other pages into it, so I can send them all out. Send one post, it goes to like 4 or 5 different Facebook pages.
So unless you have you do have admin access. Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to do it through Canva, because, would you? Could you add more than one social media? So on account settings.
Because I normally save it into my folders and then post it.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, can I connect different social media accounts? Because that's where this would be in my account. So at the moment, obviously, I've got that connected, but it wouldn't necessarily share that to my page. So I'm not sure with Canva scheduling that you can add lots of different pages. You might need a tool like Later or something where you can integrate that and then do it.
Okay.
I haven't tried, but you could try. You could go in and see.
Yeah, I'll have to play around. I need Pro, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's worth the money.
Yeah.
Have we got any more questions, or want me to go back over or anything? Because I have obviously tried to teach Canva massive tools in an hour.
I think it's clear to everybody that we just have to go in there and try, don't we?
And I think start with templates. So even if it seems, not the right thing, just go and have a look at some of the templates first of all, and what can you change? So if you've got something specific that you want to do, great. But then other things, if I come down here, some things it just gives you, I quite like the layout, but I'm now going to change it for my text. I don't want that. And actually, I don't want that image, and you can very quickly then just switch out stuff without having to think too much. Obviously not the right image, but sometimes when you're a bit lacking in inspiration, when you're faced with a blank screen, sometimes the templates can help prompt you and then make it yours. That's the thing. So even like if I type in events into the templates, it will start coming up with like birthdays or things with dates on, days and things that you can then come in and just change.
This video session is recorded. Can we get copies of it so we can refer back to sections of it when we're practicing? Is that possible?
Yeah, you'll have it on the website in a couple of days.
NFVP website, yeah.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Taking the hours out of the day to learn it.
I think
During
if
the day,
you do, I think the time you will get back will save you, because I haven't been using it that long. I used to be Photoshop. I haven't been using, you know, but the more I use it, the quicker I get. And actually, if you are used to PowerPoint, once you find where the buttons are, it's not that different. PowerPoint does have finesses in terms of timings for animation, but in terms of being able to upload your photos, templates, change your colors and things, they're all there. It's just knowing where they are, isn't it?
It's just going to be playing with it and working out how it all works.
And it is easy when you have a purpose. So like, it's very hard to come in and show you something without a need to make something, because it's like, well, I could do anything, but it's much easier like when we started with, okay, well, what's on this Easter? Well, let's
that's bad. I mean, that is really bad.
No, I like the bit about the video. You can just put a little video caption in. So it's the ones that
it doesn't, you know, sometimes we try to overcomplicate things, don't we? Like, oh, I've got to do video, which means I've got to record and do. But actually, you put an animated arrow in or animate some text and you've got a video, and that boosts it before you even started thinking about anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Good.
Cool. Okay. Brilliant. How did I do, Matthew? Have you got anything to try and catch me out with?
All sorts of things, but we'll save those for another time.